I'm going to go 3 seconds. 3, 2. Welcome back, everybody. It's your time to EdUp here on the EdUp Experience podcast, where we make education your business. Dr. Joe Lucio back with you again, another episode here at Anthology Live 2022, Anthology Together 2022, I should say, here in Orlando at the Walt Disney World Swan and Dolphin Resort. We've interacted with incredible people, incredible guests, incredible users. I say incredible, I should get a sound effect for it, but I yet do not have one. I just had it as a large, what is that? A latte with a triple shot of espresso. So I'm ready to rock and roll here, ladies and gentlemen. I have two gentlemen in front of me who have two of the hardest names to pronounce for me in the history of the world, but I'm going to give it a shot because they are from South Africa and they have the coolest accents of anybody that you'll ever meet. And I'm going to screw up their names now. And I'm just saying that in advance. So when I do, you guys can correct me. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, here are my guests today. First, we have Dolf Jordaan. He's Deputy Director of E-Learning and Media Development at the University of Pretoria. Dolf, did I get your name right?
90%.
90%? I'm feeling pretty darn good about that. We're going to need to go to the judges. Judges? All right, we're going to try again. Ladies and gentlemen, my second guest today, here he is. Garrett Stolz, Director of Teaching and Learning Center at the University of Pretoria. I'm saying Gert, but I know it's not Gert, is it?
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's nice to be here. And almost in the US, I'm Gert or Garrett.
Gert.
That's fine. But in South Africa, I'm Garrett.
Okay, we're gonna. Yeah, that's. I'm not even gonna try that one. My microphone. I'm gonna spit all over my microphone. Guys, thank you for coming on the EdUp Experience podcast today. You're here at Anthology Together. A long way from home. I mean, what are we talking here? Like 22, 24-hour flight?
Directly is about 15 plus
15 and a half.
15 and a half. Indirectly, it's close to 30 with a stay over.
And did you do it indirect or direct?
Indirect, direct.
Oh, indirect. Direct. And we like direct better. So tell us first about the University of Pretoria. I'll go to you, Gert. And talk about the university. Where are you in South Africa, and what do you guys do, and how do you do it?
Yeah, so first of all, it's a residential university, a contact university with about 36,000 undergrad students. And
36,000?
Yep. And then in terms of postgrad students, Dolf,
look, in total, we're close to 53,000
wow.
in total. It's a small university.
Yeah. Wow. That's incredible. Yeah. So how long has the university been around?
Well, more than 100 years now.
110 years.
And have you guys worked there the whole 100 years?
Only the last 200.
No, the last couple. Okay. Dolf just reached out to try to choke me. No, he didn't really do that. Talk about programs, because I did see online you guys have like 1,000 different degree pathways, 1,000 different programs of study. I mean, that's an incredible amount of programs to keep track of, especially when you're talking about online learning, e-learning, technology. How do you guys keep it all straight?
Well, we have 9 schools. So we have a school for health sciences, medicine, then which also include dentistry, education, humanities. So 9 schools and
veterinary science, which is quite unique to our context. In South Africa, the lions walk around in the streets and so forth.
Yeah, are you joking? For the lions actually walk in the streets? They get you? Do they get? How many people do they eat? No, I'm just kidding. So that's a lot of programs to keep track of. So talk about e-learning a little bit, all right? Because you guys had the pandemic, we had the pandemic. Everybody's disrupted because of the pandemic. People transition to online learning, e-learning, however you want to say it. So your jobs must have gotten bigger and bigger over a really short period of time. So talk about that transition a little bit and where things go with e-learning and online learning in the future.
I'm going to start off. I think the fortunate situation we had is the level of maturity in integrating e-learning into our teaching and learning strategy. We had close to 22 years experience before COVID hit us. And therefore, we prefer not to talk about emergency remote teaching, but just transition to remote teaching. Using Blackboard for the same number of years, we had close to 99% of undergraduate courses using the system already. But COVID brought a lot of significant changes in specifically implication teaching models of the future.
Right.
How are we going to do that? You want to
Yeah,
add?
I think
Yeah,
the
you're
move,
you're the director of the Teaching and Learning Center, right? So this is a big issue for you, right?
absolutely. So yeah, first of all, I think our transition was quite seamless. We actually, after 1 week, I think
1 month
about 1 month,
Yeah.
90% of the students were already online, and the feedback from the lecturers was really positive. Only 7% of the lecturers actually indicated, or the faculty indicated, that it was a challenge to move online. So, and what was very interesting is we continue with our normal class schedule. We just move all the contact classes to Blackboard Collaborate classes, online synchronous classes, and after the first week, then the same number of students that normally go to on campus also attended the Blackboard Collaborate classes. So it was
Wonderful.
It was a massive work, but I think a seamless transition.
You know, I like what you said, Dolf, that we refuse to talk about emergency remote learning, and we talk about being just in time. We had it, right? You guys had it. You're teaching online. Online learning is getting more and more valuable, I think, right? Because you can access anybody in the world, and they can access the University of Pretoria. What do you do to stay at the front end of teaching and learning and online education?
I think that is currently where we are. There's a lot of discussions about how we're going to return to campus. In fact, to be honest with you, we're actually returning to campus just now at the end of the July recess.
Oh, wow.
Because our academic calendar is January to December. So that's the first time in 2.5 years which our students return.
Even with lines in the streets?
Even with the lines in the street, in this case, the lectures in the classrooms. But the bottom line is, I think that is where we try to find ourselves and what do the future look. The privilege which we had is that I think a lot of innovation happened, a lot of adoption, a lot of learning happens from an academic perspective. And there are going to be new demands from our student population. To be honest with you, I think we just survived COVID. The new economic situation across the world will bring a new COVID, and that's in the sense of cost to travel.
Yeah.
That will may be impacting us, but that's just speculation. The bottom line is, I think we just reach a phase where we want to solidify the future teaching and learning model of the university.
Anything to add to that? Good.
Yes, I think some lessons that we learned the past 2.5 years of remote teaching is, first of all, is the value, for example, of recordings. About 70% of the students indicated that they re-watch the recordings and they really appreciate recordings. So some of the aspects we don't want to miss in future.
Because they can go and access that whenever they're available, right? They can go back to the recording. It's basically notes for them.
Absolutely, absolutely. Some of the challenges, of course, include assessment. And I think although we can actually use products like Turnitin, for example, or Pretoria, I think that was our biggest challenge. I think in terms of
that I think is a global challenge. I think the whole
Nailed it.
authenticity of online exams, not in a traditional online environment because the students were used to that, but in our let's call it face-to-face, moving to an online. That's not unique to our part of the world, which may be a good thing because then it's a time for lecturers across the globe to revisit authentic assessments, the reason for assessments, the form of assessments, the changing assessment policies, and so forth.
So you guys were Blackboard users, and so now you're here at Anthology Together to do what? What brings you across the world to this user conference? What are you hoping to learn? What are the takeaways that you're hoping for? What have you learned already?
Well, maybe just in terms of, I think also, and that's linked to one of the lessons learned the past 2.5 years, is the value of data. And for me is how can we improve our teaching and learning and also student success if using data effectively. And I think already that was a big discussion here at the conference.
And I think the added value of what we've heard about the Anthology as a new company, a new environment for us, is aligned with our student success initiatives. Our number one goal at the university is access and student success. That has to do with what happened previously in the country, but the bottom line is the the focus which we have, data-driven focus, success focus, hopefully will be aligned. And I think the other thing which I want to add, the reason why we normally attend it as far as possible, the BB World, in this case Anthology Together Conference, was just purely because we had a good relationship with Blackboard. We were fortunate to have excellent open door communication with the Blackboard executive, and we want to establish that partnership as part of our success story in the past.
Yeah, good partnership's important, right? Because in the
Exactly.
end, it serves the student.
Wonderful. Yeah.
What is here in the States, we have sometimes different. I talk to global leaders all the time, and they do point out a lot of differences between global education, US-based education. There are some differences. There's different degree lengths and different pathways and so on. What are some of those biggest differences that you guys are noticing, maybe from a technology perspective, from a oh wow, that's interesting kind of perspective? What are some of the? See, I'm hitting my microphone. That's how good I am as a host. I nail my microphone and make sounds in the middle of an episode. Talk about some of the differences that you notice, good, bad, and different.
I think for me, the first one is the class size. For example, we work with class sizes of some 500 to 700 students in one class. And I can see, I think that's one massive contextual factor that we need to take into account if we want to reconsider implementing some of the solutions that we find here.
Yeah, I mean, I just came from a session where my question to the presenter was about the product he spoke about. And my question was, okay, talk to me about scalability. And immediately the answer provided was, sorry, it's not applicable to my scalability size. And I think we're not unique there. South America is using significantly a lot of Blackboard products as well as the rest of the world. So that's one thing.
India is another country where there's very, very large groups of students.
And I think then for us, it's also about business models, because a business model in Europe and a business model in Northern America is not always applicable to our context. And not that we're unique, but it's just the matter. And I think that's part of our success with Blackboard. They understood the unique context of each region. And someone like Lee Blakemore, previous CEO of International in Blackboard, now still in the executive, he went to travel to the regions to understand what's really happening in that context, because you have also, I think, just to add to that previous comment, you've also, from a distance, perceptions are very easily created about these big American companies. And that is other reason why we're here. We need to be able to understand what is the roadmap, where are we moving in a partnership with them, how does it?
Yeah, how touchable are the executives when you give feedback?
Exactly, and what is the impact on our own roadmap?
Yeah. Well, I will tell you, I don't know, have you guys found Jim Milton yet, the CEO of Anthology, interacted with him?
By accident met him.
Yeah.
Only one or two.
Yeah, he's a very accessible CEO. I will tell you, I know that he walks around with a notebook and he writes down what everybody says, and he goes back and studies the notes. So corner him, Jim. If you listen to this, I'm asking these guys from South Africa, corner you and give you all the feedback, because I think it's important, right? Because any technology, no matter who it is, it has to be able to serve the students at the scale that you need to serve the students. It's hard to change your scale. It's easy to scale up. It's harder to scale down, I feel like, right? Because when you have to remove things, it's very difficult.
Yeah. And then again, Garrett referred to the data-driven thing. As I indicated, our number one goal is access and success. We have our DVC academic here, outgoing DVC academic, and he established a data-driven culture when it comes to teaching and learning. And for us, it's important to understand what is Blackboard's roadmap about data. And yesterday on the stage, the word data was often used.
Yeah.
But at operational level, what does it mean?
Yeah.
And again, how do you enforce that to everybody from top level down to operational bottom level?
Well, it's interesting because I'm with you guys. I work at a university in St. Louis, Missouri, called Lindenwood University, and we are transitioning to Anthology. So we're going through an active transition to Anthology now. Many of the same questions. How do we get the data? When do we get the data? I will tell you, our implementation has been going swimmingly well, and our data spends are going great. So I'm looking forward to the future. What are your big hopes? What do you hope to take away by the end of this conference for the both of you? What's success look like? Insight? Is it networking with the executives? Is it a better understanding of students and teaching and learning within the system? What's success look like for this conference for you?
I think firstly maybe a relationship, and I think that was the past. Even during COVID, we have a special relationship with Blackboard, and that actually helped us a lot. And I think Dolf personally have a good relationship with the people at Blackboard.
But I think your question is actually also a philosophical one, but also a reality one.
Yeah.
And for us, it's about, can we trust the new pathway, the new roadmap of the new company, the merged company? Because when you have mergers, something will always be set aside and something will always be taken to the fore and bring in a future roadmap. And one of the things which we are here to do is to see that what is important for us is not being set aside.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore also, as I indicated, how we can leverage our already initiatives. We're fortunate to receive now 2 catalysts award the function tomorrow. Part of that quite relates to the use of the Blackboard data and the Blackboard software. So we need to understand where are we moving with that, and what are we can take back.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, hopefully get some of the Anthology executives to come to our part of the world and look at the lions walking around.
I can pretty much guarantee if you go into the any executives and ask them if they want to take a trip to South Africa, they're all going to say, yes, I would. So it's no secret that higher education has changed over the last couple of years. You guys obviously know this. We talked about it a little bit. What's the future look like based on your perspectives right now? And what has your institution done, or how have you seen your institution move to better serve students and meet their needs? So what's the future look like, and how do you serve students' needs?
Well, first of all, I think it will be more flexible environment, but also I think with technology nowadays we can scale, but also at the same time personalized is your education. So, for example, in a large class we can use clickers to ensure that all students engage in class. So I think, and I think the next thing is how do we use AI effectively to support student success and teaching and learning. And also, of course, making assessments easier for the faculty.
And I think across the world, executives at universities suddenly realize the value of their either recent or old investments in centers for teaching and learning.
Mm-hmm.
Because in our case, we at some stage talk about this, but our input contributed significantly to not surviving, but to continue with
Thrive.
with yes, and to thrive actually in teaching and learning. And the fact that that has been proven make it easier to talk to executives about the future of teaching and learning as well as the investments. I think you must consider the financial context between Canada and South Africa, for example, America. So we need to make sure that we have that open door relationships and we can continue trying to improve what we want to improve upon and achieve our strategic goals.
Amazing.
I think that's a great answer, my friends. Well, I will tell you, I like talking to you guys. I can do this all day, listening to you guys talk about education. I like the global perspective more than anything, because I feel like, sometimes in the U.S. we can get very tied up in the way that we do things, and you think about it's just one little part of the world. There's tons of different models out there. I'm glad that we can exchange thoughts and ideas here at the Anthology Together Conference. Dolf and Garrett, although that is not the way you say your name, I'm not going to attempt to say it the way you did. Ladies and gentlemen, let me see if I can do it again. Dolf Jordaan, he's Deputy Director of E-Learning and Media Development. And Garrett Stolz, he's Director of Teaching and Learning Center at the University of Pretoria. Thank you, gentlemen. Did you have a good EdUp experience today on this podcast?
Thank you. Fantastic. Thank you.
All right, gents.
Appreciate it.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've just EdUp'd. Nice job, guys.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Well, I just want to grab a nice new card. This one is really